Today I'm ranking every leader in set 5. Hello and welcome to the table, and today I am back with another tier list video. It's been a minute since I've done one for Star Wars, but for set 5, I wanted to rank all the leaders, and let's dive right into it, starting off with all the Vigilance leaders, the first one being Kylo Ren. His deck cares a lot about upgrades, putting upgrades on Kylo, discarding upgrades, and then gaining value. It's just an all-around route. Seems like it's not the most insane deck in the world, but it's a pretty solid deck. It can do a decent amount of work, especially with Kylo Ren having Sentinel. If you just buff it a ton, it just seems like it's really hard for the opponent to manage and deal with. So I'm going to put this guy in B tier. It's not the most insane deck. It's not the worst deck. It's kind of like a middle-of-the-road deck. Unlike, though, Mother Talzin, which is a really solid control deck. It can give -1/-1, and sometimes even lower buffs to your enemy things based on like what Night Sister cards you're running or what Night Sister cards you're playing. It's just a really good way to manage the opponent's board states no matter what arena it's in, and it can just shrink stuff down, make it harder for them to hit hard. It's just an all-around really solid deck, and it flips on 5, whereas with Kylo it flips on 7, which is insane. So I'm going to put Mother Talzin in A tier because it just does a lot of work, and it's just a really solid control deck. But then getting into the next lit deck, I got Ahsoka Tano, which unfortunately this deck just isn't that good, in my opinion. Like, it's solid, but it's not insane. It can give out some Sentinel to its own stuff, but you gotta use the Force to do it, and then when you flip on 6, it's a 5/6 that on attack gives Sentinel to one of your other units. It's a decent deck that can, like, help you just kind of stall out the game. But Sentinel, I mean, it's a good effect. It's a good keyword, but it's not as insane as a keyword like Blocker is in One Piece, if you know what One Piece is. But it's solid, but it's not the most insane ability in the world, and it's not really that good of a deck, in my opinion, so I'm putting it in C tier. But then I got Kanan Jarrus. I absolutely love Kanan. I love Spectres. I've been wanting them to be really good for a while now, and I think Kanan is the deck to do it. It gives out shield tokens for a single resource. It can flip and be a massive beater that has shielded itself, so it's really hard for the opponent to kill. It's just an all-around absolutely wonderful, amazing card, and it's got some really powerful cards alongside it. It's got a lot of ways to stall out the board. Creatures, you know, can be... There are actually quite a few powerful creatures in this game, so I think all around Kanan has a ton of really good cards, in addition to being able to give a shield token out to those cards every turn. Just seems nuts to me. So I'm putting Kanan in S tier. But getting past the Vigilance decks, now I'm getting into the command decks. The first one being Morgan Elsbeth. This card can, or this leader can reduce the cost of your other stuff. It's kind of like, but it's got to have keywords, and you got to use the Force on the front side, I believe, in order to do that. It's like, it's okay. It's not great. I mean, it's like, you can get some amount of value off the Morgan Elsbeth. I mean, cost reduction is nothing to scoff at. It can be really powerful. But I feel like this is kind of one of the worst decks, if not the worst deck in Star Wars that kind of reduces the cost of stuff. So all around, I mean, this deck is fine. It's not great looking to me currently, but I'm just going to kind of say that it's a middle-of-the-road kind of deck like Kylo, and I'm going to slot it in at B tier. But then I got Snoke. Snoke is not a great deck. It can give experience tokens out for a single resource to your biggest card, basically. On the back, when you flip it, at 6, it's a 4/7 that can give out some experience tokens too on attack. It's like a decent card. The thing is, I think shield tokens are 100% worth a resource to hand out, because one resource for one shield token, I think, is like kind of the rate. It's a really good rate. It's a really powerful rate. With Snoke, you're spending one resource to hand out an experience token, which gives a 1/1 buff. And sure, one resource for 2 basically value, 1 in power, 1 in health. I mean, that can be fine, but I just don't think it's nearly as worthwhile as a shield token is, and I just don't think that Snoke does enough. It's kind of like Tarkin. Tarkin's not an insane deck, but it's not a terrible deck. And this deck, I mean, it doesn't have the restrictions that Tarkin does, but Tarkin, I don't know, I just think that Tarkin generally has the ability to go faster. I don't know, I just feel like this deck isn't insane, and I'm going to put it in C tier. Unlike, though, Avar Kriss. Avar Kriss seems like a really, really powerful deck. You get the Force for free every single turn off of Avar's ability on the front side. And then pretty easily, you can like use the Force multiple times in a turn, especially if you have the green base that can allow you to get the Force token repeatedly in a turn, and you have enough resources, like you're ramping a little bit, like you can flip into Avar Kriss and have an 8-10 overwhelm insanely early. It just like, I feel like there's a lot of ways to make this deck really good. It seems really powerful, and it just seems like it has a ton of resources to be a really powerful contender and deck. So I think this deck is worth putting in S tier, even above Kanan. I would really rather not put it above the Spectre tribal deck and / creature tribal deck, but mostly Spectre is what I care about. But Avar Kriss, still a fine deck, still a solid deck. It's like, it seems pretty good. But then I got Obi-Wan Kenobi. This deck, it's kind of like the same kind of vibes as Snoke. It gives out experience tokens, though this time it is for free, but you have to use the Force in order to do it, and you can only give an experience token to something that doesn't already have an experience token on it. It just seems like a lot of time to give one experience token to one thing, and like unless you're going wide, you're just not going to be able to give out that many experience tokens, and you have to use the Force every time in order to do so, which the Force, I mean, it's a pretty powerful like effect to have, and I feel like using it on an experience token for one unit just isn't that strong. So I just think that this card has to go in D tier, which is unfortunate. I love Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I just don't think he is that powerful. But then I got Maul, the starter deck leader, one of the starter deck leaders, and this one seems like one of the best ones that's ever been made. I mean, it gets to deal damage to multiple units. You have to use the Force in order to do so, sure, but you get to deal 1 damage to your unit and 1 damage to a different unit, and when it flips, it's a 5/6 that does the same thing, except you don't have to use the Force this time. And it's just like, it's a good way to like paint a lot of stuff down, and I mean, if you have something like a Tarkin Town, it's just like, boom, 4 damage out of nowhere and 1 damage to a different thing. It's just like, there's a lot of things about Darth Maul. It just seems like a really good deck that can manage the board. And, I mean, aggression can do that fairly well, but I feel like this deck is going to be the best one to do it out of any that we've seen so far. Like, there's indirect damage decks, yes, but this is like, that was trying to make board managing and aggression like a strategy, a somewhat viable strategy, and with Maul, I just think that it's a lot more viable this time around. So for the first aggression leader, I'm going to be putting it in A tier, and I'm going to go above Mother Talzin. I think it's a little bit better than Mother Talzin. But then I got Third Sister, which is a character that nobody remembers, but I think she's actually pretty solid. Having the ability to give your stuff hidden is pretty powerful, pretty solid. Like, it can do a lot of work, like making your stuff unable to be attacked for a turn, and then when it flips, it itself having hidden in a decent amount of power, like making it a good aggressive body, in addition to being able to on attack, giving your stuff hidden. It just like, I feel like what you could do with this deck is basically play blue, play Vigilance, has some Sentinel stuff, and then play a Sentinel thing, use her ability, Third Sister's ability, to give that thing hidden so it can't be attacked. Then you flip Third Sister, and then it can't be attacked, and you just put a couple of upgrades on her, and then you just all of a sudden have this massive thing that the opponent can't deal with for a turn. Then on the next turn, they still have to deal with that Sentinel thing, and then only then they can attack the Third Sister. So it seems like a really, really powerful deck that can just repeatedly just deal big chunks of damage with the Third Sister, and just taking the absolute most advantage out of hidden. So I think this deck is totally 100% an A tier, which I wish that it was a different leader, a different face, making it this high, but whatever. But then there's Kit Fisto, which can deal some damage. It's Jedi Tribal. And it can get really big on the backside. Like, it can become like a 6/6 Saboteur that flips. And it's just like, it seems like a decent deck. It's like a Jedi aggro deck. It's not the most insane thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just like, I don't know. It's better than Snoke. It's worse than Ahsoka. I think it's like a middle-of-the-road C-tier deck. It's not insane, but it's not the worst deck in the world either. But then there's Rey, which this deck, in my opinion, just is not very good. I mean, you get to deal damage to a thing if you've played a non-unit force card this turn, I believe, is what the front side says, and it flips on 7. It's just like, it's a really slow deck, and it's just not that good. I mean, yeah, sure, dealing damage is fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the, I don't know. It's like, this deck is D tier. I think it's a little bit above Obi-Wan. And sure, that's only because of the backside. Like, if you can flip Rey onto the backside, then, I mean, it's a big body, and it can draw you some cards, yes. But the likelihood of you getting there just makes me think that this deck only deserves D tier. So, there you go. But then getting into cunning, the first deck I got is Barisafi, which basically is event tribal. And just can make events cost less, and can just all around be a really good way to just make your surprise strikes, your no good to me deads, your, I don't know, if you're playing command, your overwhelming barrages. Like, you can make a ton of your stuff and some of the most powerful events in the game way cheaper to play. So I just think because of that, and the fact that it's Cunning Villainy, which gives you access to a ton of more cards that are just really, really powerful, less, like, cost cheating for events in Cunning Villainy just seems really good to me. So I think Barisafi deserves, deserves A tier. I think that is pretty fair to say. Maybe even S tier, but I don't think it's that high. I don't think it's that powerful. Like, it needs to prove itself a little bit in order for me to bump it up to S tier, and so far, like, I don't think it's that good, but I do think it deserves the top of A tier. Unlike Grand Inquisitor, this deck, it can shrink the power of opposing things, and it's on the backside a 3/5 shielded that does the same thing, and it's just like, the deck's terrible. It's D tier. It's the worst deck in this set, which, for realistically, Cunning Villainy, their decks need to be worse, and I'm glad that this deck isn't that good, but just make the cards, like, the Cunning Villainy cards themselves worse. Like, there are a lot of good Cunning Villainy cards in this set. So, like, you can't only make the leaders bad. You gotta make the cards worse, too. If you're gonna, like, level things out and make Cunning Villainy not the absolute best deck in the game, at least make the cards a little bit worse, too. But speaking of Cunning being busted, let's talk about Cal Kestis. This deck is insane. Absolutely insanely nuts. It's basically like Cad Bane, but it's heroism, and it exhausts the thing. And all you have to do is use the Force. And when you flip him on 4 resources, he flips into a 3/4 that on attack, an opponent chooses one of their units, and it readied units, and then they exhaust that unit. So it flips early, it exhausts things, it's in Cunning, and, you know, all you have to do is use the Force in order to exhaust your opponent's stuff. So it's just like, I feel like, personally, with all the cards that Cunning has, like bouncing stuff back, and exhausting things, and stuff like that, Cal Kestis is going to be one of the most annoying decks to ever play against in the entirety of this game. So it is easily S tier. Maybe even, just maybe, the absolute best deck in this entire set. So yeah, Cal Kestis, everybody. Absolute legend. But then there's Qui-Gon Jinn, which basically, it's like Law, but for Star Wars Unlimited, if that makes any sense and you know what One Piece is. Basically, you're taking one of your units, you're bouncing it back to your hand, then you get to play another unit that costs less, and you're getting its one plate effect, and you're getting value off of that. You're just basically playing units, bouncing them back to hand and getting value off of their one plays over and over and over and over again. Just getting infinite value off of your stuff, which in my opinion is really powerful and really good. So, Qui-Gon Jinn, welcome to the S tier. There you go. It's just like, there isn't a lot else to say. Qui-Gon Jinn is a really good deck. It's a starter deck, by the way. And I would say it's probably the second best leader in the set. So there's that. But then, getting into the two crazy decks of the set, I got Darth Revan and Anakin Skywalker. The only villainy deck and the only heroism deck. So for the only villainy deck, Darth Revan, there's a lot of potential. It could be a really fun deck. I think it's kind of more of a jank deck, but it just seems like for the deck building, just wonders alone, just all of the thoughts racing through my mind of all the potential strategies and versions and all the deck building fun of Darth Revan. And the fact that, Darth Revan is a solid looking deck. There are a lot of cards in the set, Darth Bane? It's either Darth Bane or Darth... Yeah, no, I think it's Darth Bane. And his, if you're playing aggression, you got his event, that 4-cost event that just deals a ton of damage to everything. You got his lightsaber. There's a lot of cards in this set that do make Revan a very solid looking deck. And, I don't think it's going to be insane, but I think it is a very good middle-of-the-road deck, so I think it deserves B tier. Above Kylo. There you go. Above Kylo. But then lastly, there's Anakin. This deck is very similar to Revan, except this deck, basically, it does get 3 aspects, but it gets access to both heroism and villainy, essentially. So that's really good for you. And basically, if you stick Cunning in, you get access to Cunning, Villainy, Heroism, which in my mind seems like the most powerful deck in the game. But the fact that you can only play 1 Villainy card a turn, because I do think Villainy is more powerful than Heroism, does limit this deck quite a bit. So I think for that reason, Anakin isn't amazing nuts, because, getting access to both Heroism and Villainy and another aspect of your choice through the base, I would say that would make him A tier. But because you're only going to really be able to play 1 Villainy card a turn, so you kind of only get access to 2 aspects for a majority of the game, and for a lot of the time, I think Anakin deserves the top of the middle road, B tier. But that is my tier list. Hope you all enjoy this tier list. If you don't agree with me, leave a comment down below and share with me your tier list for the set, for the leaders at least. And with all that aside, hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It's completely free, you won't regret it. And have a great rest of your day, everybody. Enjoy.